Hey everybody, Zeal Brothers here once again. Want to make another video, and this one is going to be asking a simple question. If you saw a miracle, would you believe? And I ask this question because oftentimes when I talk to secularists who we might term atheists, oftentimes they will say, if I saw a miracle, I would believe. And when you look at theology, let's just say this, that the Bible does not agree with your assessment. And the reason it doesn't, we'll get into, but let's just look at a few examples first to prove that point. The first one is in the story of Lazarus and the rich man. In that story, Lazarus goes to heaven, the rich man goes to hell. And the rich man is so devastated by hell that he asks Abraham, he says, please, please send Lazarus to talk to my brothers. If they saw somebody that raised from the dead and spoke to them the truth about the gospel, they will believe. And Abraham said no. They have the law and the prophets. If they don't believe those, they won't accept it even if somebody rose from the dead. And on top of this, we see evidence throughout the Bible. Many of the prophets did miracles. People didn't necessarily turn away from what they were believing in and do anything. There were times when people tried to kill a prophet. The prophet will be miraculously protected or miraculously healed. And that person will continue to try to kill that person. There's a particular story where Jesus resurrected a man from the dead. That man was raised after being dead for 4 days. It was indisputable fact in that day. And the Pharisees, when they saw that man being raised from the dead, they didn't think to themselves, hey, if we try to kill this guy, Jesus can undo it. They didn't think that. They thought, we got to kill this guy and Jesus too. We got to silence these guys. And I want to point you guys to a very uncomfortable fact. That when you talk about atheism, what you really have is basically an attempt to suppress the truth. Romans talked about this, that God is angry. God's wrath goes out. Why does it go out? It goes out because men have suppressed the truth. Not because men deny the truth, not because men don't know the truth. It's because men suppress the truth. I believe many of you atheists who watch videos like these and you look for Christian things and you like to point out little flaws that Christians think, and I'm with you, right? Because a lot of Christians believe in an emotional gospel that I'm against. But I believe many of you are suppressing what you know to be true. You know that there is a God. You know that. You might want to deny it to yourself to silence the doubt. But at the dark of the night, when you're staring at the ceiling, trying to go to sleep, and you're thinking about the world, and you're thinking about how the world works, when you go to a funeral, and you look at somebody's lifeless body, you can't tell me you don't believe in a soul. And when you look at these facts, right, observable facts that we look at the universe, and you try to divide the universe into science and religion, you can't tell me that by your division itself, you have not simply excluded religion as even being possibly true. In fact, that's what you've done. That's what secularism does. Secularism creates a universe where it says, if there was a miracle, there had to simply be a problem in the way we measured it. There can't be a God. There is simply science and then everything else. If there was something that we couldn't measure, it wouldn't fit in science, but unspoken fact, science encompasses all reality. So there is no God because we presume that he can't be. There is nothing spiritual. We presume that that can't be. When we see demon possession, we don't think that's that. We think it's just mental illness. When we see spiritual things, we just think it's something we can't explain. Soon, 100 years in the future, 1,000 years in the future, one day we will have a scientific rationale to explain what we see. But today, maybe we don't see it. You're just trying to silence your own doubts. And we will examine more and more your arguments as this channel grows. But I want you to know that just because you have silenced your doubts doesn't mean that the truth doesn't exist. And I need you to slowly examine the truth in your heart, because running away from truth will not help you. The Bible has a very simple verse, and it says this: the truth will set you free. And a lot of times when we look at different issues and we look at different politics and things like that, we can get caught up in the moment. We can get tribal. We can choose our team because that's been our team. But I want us to take a step back. Take a step back and look at the truth. Examine what really goes on. And when you do that and you get closer and closer to the truth, you start to realize that God is real and that spiritual things really do exist. And they explain a lot what's going on in the universe. And if you don't believe me, stick around, subscribe, keep watching our videos, because we'll keep on showing you the truth. And some of these stories may seem unrelated to that truth, but stick with us. You'll get there.